Hello, I'm Old Man Cuber, and welcome to episode 6 of my 6-part series covering the beginner's method on solving the Rubik's Cube. So, that being said, this is a Rubik's Cube. I don't actually use Rubik's Cubes because that hurts. That one, classic Rubik's Cube, hurts my hand. If you want to stick with the Rubik's brand, get the Speed Cube. It's a lot easier. It rotates better. Anyway, so that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. We'll be using primarily the right hand algorithm and the left hand algorithm. Yeah, that's it. So this right here, we're going to start with just an interesting point out that once you get to this point, there is either 3 edges that are not solved, or 4. I'm sure you could maybe come across where there's 2 edges that are not solved, but I have not run across that in a beginner method where there's only 2. You've got 2 right and 2 wrong. I haven't seen it. So, but I'm sure that it's come up somewhere. Anyway, so we're going to get right into it. This is one of the fun methods. It's kind of cool. At first I was a little afraid of it, but once I did it for the first time, it was, wow, this was easy, and it was fun, and it was a lot of movement, and it was easy to keep track of, which I'll get into. So we've got this here. I'm going to go ahead and solve it strictly the beginner's method. I do have other methods that I use, some variants to the beginner's method that I use, but those, as well as some of the other algorithms that I use, will be covered in episode 7 of my 6-part series, even though it's really 8, but that's because I had an episode 0 for an introduction. So, episode this one here is basically we just start with a single right hand algorithm. Okay, there's your right hand algorithm. Okay, we got that in there. Now we're going to do a left hand algorithm. There's our left hand algorithm. Okay, now here's where, just to make sure you've got everything lined up right, it's the cube's kind of messed up right now, but you've got a T there, and it's got a reflecting T here on your face. Okay, so you've got a T and a T, and then there's 2 whites up here. That kind of shows you I did that part right. Now comes the fun part. We do 5 right hand algorithms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you notice that these two parts or sides, these 2 on the face are back the way they were before we started. So now we do 5 left hands, and we'll get the same thing for here. So our face here is back to the way it was. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And look at that. It's solved. Okay, this is for the beginner method. This is probably one of the easier ones. And in my previous episode, I mentioned was a U-perm, the A variant. The A variant is the only one on the beginner method that goes that way. I have some for the B method. There's some variants that an alternate method that's based on the beginner method I use for that. But that again is in episode 7. So, but yeah, that was pretty. That's it. The cube is solved. You've solved a Rubik's cube. Yeah. After. Yeah, right. I mean, that's awesome. So now here, this is the one that I referred to as H-perm. I like to call it the castle because it kind of looks like if you had to do like an 8-bit castle, this is kind of what the castle tower would look like. Just knock out the centers and boom. So that being said, but with this being each one being off by something, let's go ahead and pick a side. It doesn't matter what. And we'll do the same method that we did for this one, which is a single right hand algorithm, and then a single left hand algorithm. Okay, so, and you'll see we got our T. Now this one, the T is a little messed up down here, but that's because we knew that was messed up, so that's okay. But the T on top, straight on. Okay, so we'll do our right hand algorithm 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the two sides here, or this part of the face, is now back the way it was. Left-handed. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this one is now back the way it was. Great. But it looks the same. Yes, it does. But this one might be a little bit different. This one's a little different. And this one is way different. The front face here is now solved. Now we just do here on the front face like we did here, because it's now converted, the beginner method has now converted this into a U-perm, A variant. That's what it looks like. So we'll do 1, 2, right? Was our right and our left. So there's our T. Here's our other T, and it's right. Okay, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hey. It's solved. So, yeah, that's it. Awesome. And then we're going back here. We're again, we have 3 faces, the top, the bottom, and a front face solved. So we use the front face as our starting point. A right-handed algorithm and a left-handed algorithm. Okay, we've got our T, and then do our 5 right hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 left hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And look, we're solved. All right. Okay, maybe I won't do that for every one of them. Yeah, maybe I will. I don't know. Toys are toys. So this one here is a green, or we have a green face at the top and the bottom is solved. And it looks like this too is the A method. So let's go ahead and start. Right hand, left hand. There's our T. Here's our other T. Okay. 5 right hand, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There's our 2 matching, right? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's our face is done. And our cube is solved. Okay, this one is U-perm B variant. But we're going to go ahead and still use the method. We've got a right hand, a left hand. Okay, there's our T. Here's our T. Okay. We're always going to get that on the U method, or on the U perm. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's those two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, wait a second. This didn't solve it. You're right. It didn't. It's because it was the B variant as opposed to the A variant. The one we were solving there, the piece on the left side is moving across to the right, whereas the B variant is the piece on the right side needs to move to the left. But by doing what we just did, doing the 1 right, 1 left, 5 right, 5 left, that it reverses these. So we now have it, so it's this piece is going over here. So we just do it again. So a right hand, a left hand, there's our T. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And look, it's now solved. Yeah, good job. Good job. All right. This too is going to be a B variant. So let's just jump right in. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yep, but it's now switched directions. Instead of going this way, this one is coming over here. So it's going this way. So do it one more time. 1, 2, here's our T. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. So, hey, look, and it's solved. All right. Yeah, good job. Now on our last one. Yeah, it's going to make, this piece needs to go over here. So that, because it's going to the left, that tells me using the beginner method, I'm going to have to step through this twice. Again, I have a method that I'll show in episode 7, which will cover a shortcut, so you don't have to do that whole method twice. There's also a couple. I'm going to cover the actual algorithm for solving the U-perm later, a lot later, but I have a beginner method variant that I'll show in episode 7. So that being said, all right, let's go ahead and get on it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now it's switch sides. Got to go that way. 1. There's our T's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And look at that. It's solved. Yeah. Yeah. So, good job. And that concludes episode 6 of our of our beginner's method on solving the cube, the Rubik's Cube, or the variants of Rubik's Cube, because these don't actually get used much in world in competitions. So that being said, but now that you can solve a Rubik's Cube, I'm actually going to do a little bit of blurb about some future videos right here. They're not coming up next, but they're in the near future. Now that you can solve a Rubik's Cube, you can now also solve what's called a mirror cube, which happens to be a variant of this. This actually is a Rubik's Cube. Rubik's calls this Rubik's blocks, but it's referred to as mirror cube. So yeah, and really the difference is this is the classic Rubik's method. It's still all need a strong arm to get the thing to rotate, whereas this one not so much. I can rotate it with a finger. Okay, so I picked the thinnest side. Let me do the thicker side. It's easier to rotate the thicker side with a finger because it's there. But the nice thing is about this model is it's magnetized, so it doesn't have, or it's not supposed to have blow by. So I can't overspin it, or I'm not supposed to be able to overspin it. I do actually a little bit sometimes, but that's it. The mirror cube is one of the other cubes that you can solve by knowing the 3x3 method. And the next one is, and I've brought it up in a couple of my other videos, it's called the Mega Minx. If you know the 3x3 method, you can solve almost the whole thing. The only part that gets a little different on the 3x3 is when you're solving, when you're working on the last layer. But all these layers from white all the way up to the last layer, even some of the last layer, you use the beginner method, or can use the beginner method to solve it. There are actually a number of algorithms that are out there on how to solve it, but that's again, yeah, Rubik's Cube. So you've finished, so you've solved the Rubik's Cube, and as my Aussie friends say, good on ya. So thank you very much and have a good day.